Hey everybody, how's it going? This is my first podcast, and joining me is my buddy Randy.
My first podcast as well.
Today we're going to be discussing... Did you just interrupt me? Today we're going to be discussing a lot of shit, starting with Avengers Infinity War. Alright, so what you think of the movie, bro?
So Infinity Wars I think it was a really good payoff for every Marvel fan out there, like true Marvel fans. It's not one of those ones where you could be like, oh yeah, I saw Iron Man, but I didn't see Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh, yeah.
You know, shit like that. Like, this movie was really a payoff for people who were fans. The whole run through, the whole fucking 10-year run they had.
10 years, man. Like, when I first saw the end credit scene from Iron Man, I was like, this is going to be big. And then after Avengers, I'm like, this is going to get bigger. And after Age of Ultron, I'm like, I hope it gets bigger than this. Because Age of Ultron was kind of weak. It wasn't terrible, like Justice League. Fuck.
Oh boy.
But
we'll get into that one.
But yeah, we'll definitely will. Skip to this part if you really want to get into it. But Infinity War was worth the wait, worth the price of admission, and worth your time. Like I'm being serious.
Every little thing that you could put into that movie, it was worth it.
It was worth it, especially Thanos. Let's talk about Thanos for a fucking second.
Thanos. The movie was clearly about Thanos.
It's his movie, man. He wins.
So yeah, Thanos, man. He really took the fucking cake on this movie. I swear to God, he had everything that you would look for in a good villain. You know, I mean, would I personally say that he was worthy of like a matchup of Heath Ledger's Joker? No, but he was still an amazing villain. Anything that you could really ask for, especially in a family-friendly movie.
Right, and it got dark in a lot of places.
It really did. It really did. It's one of those movies where you don't even realize for a second that you're actually watching a superhero movie. You know?
Yeah. It's that one scene where he tricks him into thinking he's just talking to the Collector, and then Gamora stabs him in the fucking neck, and he's bleeding out from his mouth too. He's like, why? Yeah.
There's moments where it got really dark, and you were like, "Holy shit!" You know, like, but
Marvel's for kids,
like, right? You know, this is one of those things where you got to watch this, and you got to understand that not only is there people out there who understand, but also Disney understands as well that their fan base is not just children. You know,
right? Exactly.
A lot of adults too. I mean,
and Age of Ultron missed that point.
Right. These superheroes have been around for years, you know, so they know that there's going to be people who enjoy characters like Spider-Man or characters like Captain America or Iron Man. I mean, those were the golden years of Marvel Comics. So
it's like all the Marvel movies that came before these really couldn't match up to its level.
Right.
Except for maybe...
Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Except for maybe Spider-Man 2.
Right.
To a certain degree. Especially with that fucking train fight, man.
Yeah. That was pretty intense, I'm not gonna lie.
It has good story it has good character development, it has a good story, it has a good arc for each character. Exactly. And these movies, they kind of have... They've heightened that level up. They've gone to a higher level as far as character development, as far as story build, like everything.
Right, they have, and you know what I really appreciated? What I really appreciated throughout this whole movie is, besides Thanos, right? Because, like I said, he is the main showcase for this movie, and if you go into this movie thinking otherwise, you're gonna be disappointed. But besides Thanos, nobody else really steals the show from anybody. You know, they don't focus on anybody. You know, like an exceptional amount. You know, like Age of Ultron, they focused a lot on Iron Man. They focused a lot on that the romance between
Hulk and Romanoff. Yeah,
right. So like, but there was aspects of that movie that stole the show. If you went up to somebody and asked them what they remember most from Age of Ultron, there's people who would tell you different things, but usually the person only has one thing that they can really tell you. Whether it be Iron Man trying to stop the fucking floating piece
Sokovian
of
City,
of
vibranium
from falling,
vibranium meteorite.
Right, either that or Quicksilver's death, or Age of Ultron had a way of letting other characters steal the show, and this one they really meshed it well. They fleshed it out to the point of everyone had their time, everyone had their story, and the most beautiful part about this movie, when I say that it's for the fans, is that it was a movie where we did not have to see character development. We've seen character development through 10 years, and they did not need to show us anything.
Each of their movies, we've seen their stories progress. We've seen their characters progress up to this point, and when we see how they are at this point, we're like, yeah, we remember how they got there. We like
right, exactly.
It's just, and we need to discuss the elephant in the room. I mean the Star-Lord in the room. Everyone's all like, Star-Lord's a fucking idiot! Why did he hit Thanos in the head with this fucking gun? He should have fucking stopped! Okay, let me tell you something. If you lost your mother, had to kill your father, lost a father figure, and then found out that the person in front of you killed the love of your life, would you have done the same thing?
I would have done the exact same thing.
That same thing here. I would have lost my shit. I would have been in blind rage, just hitting that motherfucker.
Exactly.
It's just...
and the thing is that yet another instance of people who aren't truly fans. They're just kind of they're just kind of tourists through these movies or through these franchises. But, it's just another prime example, because if you watch any of the Guardian movies, you see how they try to make Quill into a purely human aspect of the story.
And he even says that in the movie.
Right,
he said that 50% of me that's stupid, that's 100% you, human.
Right. They play on that. And the thing is Quill is basically the metaphor for human emotion. I mean, anything from Guardians 1, right? Guardians 1, he had that need to basically have a family. Look, he immediately was ready to be friends with all of them. Everybody else had their little quirks that were preventing it or holding them back, whereas Quill was he was immediately ready for that. He wanted that relationship as quick as he could, and then come Guardians Volume 2, he was ready to murder his own father to save what he loved. That he is a man who yes, can be driven by emotion, but he's also a man with reason. But that moment where you lose somebody, where you truly love them, how would you react?
I don't know. I would have probably reacted the way he did. I would have lost my shit.
Exactly. There's not one person that you would ask if you could stand face to face with the person who killed the one person that you loved, where they would say, "Oh, I would probably just let it go."
It's easier said than done.
Exactly.
In that case.
That moment in the movie was a raw moment of humanity. That was Quill allowing emotion to trump reason, and in the end, it brought risk, is what it did. If he didn't do anything, there'd be no risk to the story. There'd be no threat. There'd be nothing that kept us on the edge of their seat, and the whole realm of anticipation would be lost.
We've been like, oh,
So-
his glove is off. That's the end of the movie. Yay, the Avengers won again! Oh.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Yeah,
we needed to take risks in this movie, and they did a very good job in doing it.
And let's talk about Iron Man, the fucking legend. He faced up against Thanos on a one-on-one fucking battle and lived.
Listen, dude, Iron Man has been my favorite hero out of all these Avengers.
Definitely my number one.
Yeah, dude. Since the beginning, Iron Man has been my favorite. You know, I was a dude who, when people would ask, you know, before even like Avengers came out or anything, but people would ask who my favorite MCU hero was, and I would say Iron Man.
Iron Man.
Like, but he's such a dick. But he's such a douche. No, he's not. Like the thing a lot of people don't understand is like this guy, just like every other character, has levels to him, and that's the thing that people they have very skewed thoughts about what characters should be in movies nowadays. And the thing is, it seems as though if a character has more than a two-dimensional personality, that people can't grasp it, and they think it's stupid, or they think it's shitty. When in all reality, this person has depth to them. They have more dimension to them and more purpose to them than a lot of the other movies that come out nowadays. Everybody else is always two-dimensional. They're always the stereotypical character. That's why we got a bunch of idiots nowadays who say that the prequel trilogies are better than the sequels to Star Wars.
Oh,
Because
exactly.
The prequel characters are very two-dimensional. The only person that they had that was three-dimensional in that movie was Anakin. And even then, they didn't have a good enough actor to pull it off. So it literally made it void.
Or giving a good direction, because I'm pretty sure he can act better than that.
Oh, exactly. Yeah. Oh, yeah. You know, and that's
Because you see movies like The Happening, and you see Mark Wahlberg going, "What? No!" like you know he's a good actor. Like same thing with here. George Lucas probably wanted him to be like this angsty teenager, and it just came off as awkward and just wrong.
Right. Yeah.
Speaking of which, Last Jedi. Let's talk about it.
All right. Well, you know.
Okay. I love this movie. Come at me, haters. Come at me. Come at me.
I mean, it's sad because you know when you say something like that, you're going to get a lot of dumbasses who want to comment on whatever you're saying about how you're stupid or you should go kill yourself, or, you know, stupid stuff like that. And
exactly.
And to me, that's not being a real fan. That's just being a fucking drama queen. You know,
right? And also saying you're not a true fan you're not a true fan if you didn't hate this movie. This movie is a disgrace to Star Wars, and it is a disgrace to Luke's character. And
exactly, you know, these fans to me nowadays, these fans that we have, these fans that we have. Anybody who's going to start listening to us needs to know that that is our word for basically fake fans.
Right. Who claim to be real fans, who believe that the OG trilogy is superior and prequel trilogies are way better than the sequels, which is way off.
Way off. You know, these fans nowadays, they're literally the equivalent to a child who gets a piece of birthday cake, and then that child throws a fit because they wanted chocolate cake instead of vanilla.
Right.
You know, they can't appreciate the fact that they have cake in front of them because it's not the cake that they wanted. And that's exactly how people are, these fans nowadays. That's exactly how they are. They didn't get the movie that they had wanted, but they got a good movie. And because they didn't get what they wanted, they throw everything else to the wind just because it wasn't what they were expecting.
They nitpick the shit out of it. They pick on the slightest error that the movie could have and just make it into a big deal, like this continuity error, where
any
Ray,
little thing.
it's just fucking ridiculous, and
It really is.
And we also have to talk about the whole Luke, Mark Hamill ordeal.
Yeah, you know, there's all these people out there who are desperately searching for. Maybe they're not desperately searching. You know, Mark Hamill has a voice. Mark Hamill is allowed to say whatever he wants.
Exactly, and he has every right to his opinion, because.
But what I don't think is right is that people continuously take Mark Hamill out of context.
Right.
You know, Mark Hamill deserves to say what is on his mind, but he doesn't deserve other people to mold what he says for their purpose.
Right. Like when he says that he fundamentally disagrees with what Rian Johnson decided for his character, that does not mean he hates the movie altogether, or just says, fuck it, I'm not going to do this because this is bullshit. He's been Luke since freaking 77. And he's progressed from a lonely farm boy to a Jedi Master, right? And he's like, okay, this guy's optimistic, and he sees him. Mark Hamill basically is partially Luke Skywalker now. We had to accept that fact, you know.
It's part of him, yeah.
And then for him to read the script, right, and to be like, Mark Hamill is gonna be brooding, and he's gonna be depressed, and he's gonna be full of guilt, and he's gonna be he gave up on everything and stuff. He's gonna be like, that's not Luke Skywalker. Like, that's
right.
He has every right to that opinion because that's his character. He knew him. He's been him ever since he started. But he took it upon himself to visualize Rian Johnson's version of Luke to the fullest. He did a good job. He did a really good job. He almost had me in tears at one point when he said, the Jedi have to end. I came to this island to die, and I'm like, Jesus, man, that shit must have been hard, bro. And where these fans are going like, come on, Luke, why giving up? Just help them fight. What the fuck? We want to see you fucking throw lightsabers everywhere. Fucking shit. Come on, man.
Well, my question to you would be, right? How would you feel if everybody in the world had revered you as a hero for 40 years? 40 years, which is, with the average lifespan nowadays, is literally almost half your life, right?
Right.
If somebody revered you as a hero for half of your life, and you were to come in one day, and you were to read that now you are going to be this grumpy, faithless curmudgeon, do you think you'd be happy in who your character is?
Not exactly. I'd be shocked at what I was reading. I'd be like, where did this come from? Exactly what Mark Hamill's reaction was. But did he say fuck it? No.
No, because Mark Hamill knows, just like any fan, and I say fan, real fan, should know out there that everybody has the right to an artistic viewpoint.
Right.
And if that artistic viewpoint clashes with yours, so be it. Let it happen. But appreciate the art that is in front of you. Okay? So, Mark Hamill came in and realized, yo, this isn't the path that I would have liked to go, but this is the path that Luke is going, and, you know, this is something that I have to deal with. But my thing is what makes fans so angry with who Luke was?
Right. It's just they were so attached. They probably wanted to see Luke come back and be and kind of just come back as the legend and be like, okay, I will return with you, Rey, and fight with you to the First Order. It's not going to be that fucking easy. First of all.
Right, but this dude, Mark Hamill, you know, God bless the man, but he's old as shit.
Right.
He's not in, you know, Jedi Master shape anymore.
Exactly.
He's not going to be flipping around stormtroopers and, you know, blocking, you know, blaster fire. Like, he's old. That's not his job anymore, you know?
You didn't see Alec Guinness do all that shit.
Exactly. You didn't see Alec Guinness do it. you barely saw Han Solo do anything in the sequels here.
Well, he did shoot a few stormtroopers, so we can't. He did,
really. but that was it. You know, he literally what he did was the equivalent to Luke projecting himself on Crate. You know.
Yeah, and draining all life because he used his full power for the first time in a while.
What's there to be mad about? This man had a beautiful send-off. This was probably one of the most grandiose send-offs that you could have in the Star Wars universe.
I agree, man.
They played his theme. They showed us the fucking binary sunset.
That fucking almost teared me the fuck up, man.
Dude, there was so much reminiscent of the OG trilogy that was there to appreciate. But just because Luke wasn't adhering to the Jedi Order, or the Jedi teachings, people were like, "Oh no, I don't like him." You know, like you literally diminished such a beautiful scene just because he didn't develop as a character the way you wanted him to.
Right. When I went into this movie, I went in saying, okay, let us see what happens to Luke in this one. And I was surprised what they've done. He seems hopeful throughout the first half of the movie. In the middle, we see Yoda motivating him, saying, "Yo, get off your ass, bro." And I'm like, okay, exactly. But I was wondering, I almost forgot that he was in the movie because of all the stuff that was going on in between. And then when he showed up, I was like, oh, Luke is back. But then when he astral projected, I was relieved that he didn't die. But then when he fucking fell off the air, I was like, fuck.
Yep.
I was like, no, man. But if you paid attention in the beginning, Kylo Ren was wondering if Rey was projecting herself, but he was like, nah, that could kill you. That's exactly what happened to Luke, but he hasn't used that type of power in a long time. And to use that power to this effect would kill somebody.
And here's another thing too, is I don't understand why people put so much focus on it, because when it boils down to it, Luke does not have that much screen time. And, they focus on something as trivial as Luke's character development, like that in reality was a very small part of the story. There was so many other things going on, which brings me to Rose.
Oh yes, yes. It is ridiculous that so many people treat her like she's the new Jar Jar Binks, which is just so fucking retarded.
Like I've watched all the prequel trilogies. I watched every Star Wars movie that's come out.
Same.
I in no way see how there's a connection between literally the galaxy's stupidest character to her.
Right. She was a fine addition. She was a new character. I was like, oh, okay, this is a new character. She's cool. She helps Finn. She does help Finn's character progress.
Exactly. And when it boils down to it, yet again, it's another thing of, I really think that, it's getting to the point where maybe it's hard for some people to grasp the fact that there's depth to a character. If everything isn't shown in front of you or explained through exposition, people don't tend to understand it. Whereas they don't get the subtlety of what's going on. You have Rose, who is a character who A, lost her sister, B, ran into one of the most famous now heroes in the galaxy, and her whole story that she takes serves a purpose. It serves to show Finn expanding his knowledge of the universe, but also it shows progression in Rose, because it starts off with her basically trying to show off to Finn to her gaining a relationship with Finn. And, you know, they didn't make things obvious, so people got mad because things caught them by surprise, you know?
Right, it came out of nowhere, but I wasn't expecting it, but it's good that it came out of nowhere because I didn't want to go through another Attack of the Clones relationship plotline. It would have been so grating.
That's what I don't want. That's one of the reasons that I loved Last Jedi. You know why? Because, frankly, I was sick of them recycling the same plot.
Exactly.
You know,
this feels more original than Force Awakens was. Regardless of what I thought of Force Awakens, I thought Force Awakens was a good movie. But you can't deny the fact that they did play it safe. They really did.
You know, J.J. Abrams' job basically was to come in and build this nostalgia. You know, build off of what Star Wars fans know and what they love, right? And J.J. Abrams came in, and he did a good job for the task that he was given.
Exactly.
But the thing is there's other people who are involved. And here's the thing, too, that people need to understand, that they give Rian Johnson so much hate. It's not just him, you know? Rian Johnson wasn't the guy who sat down and had absolute, complete control over this. There's other people involved.
Exactly.
You know? And there's all these other people who realize we need to do something different. This needs to be taken in a different route. If you want something to survive, it needs to evolve. It needs to become different.
Which leads me to my next complaint. People saw Force Awakens and thought it was a rehashed piece of shit movie and stuff. And then they see this movie and it's like, this has nothing to do with Star Wars. I'm boycotting this movie. I'm like, what?
How do we satisfy
you?
How do we satisfy you?
Mark Hamill even said this. You can't please everybody. And apparently you can't please Star Wars fans.
Exactly. You know, and it's sad because, you know, going off of those two main things, Rose and Luke, which there's a lot more that we could get into in the movie, but going off of those things, it really makes me sad because you have these people who will dig as deep as they can to find these interviews with Mark Hamill, you know, and try to twist it as best as they can to make it look like he's trashing the movie. That one guy on YouTube, that link he sent me, the guy who was reading an article from France to pass his point. My whole thing is it makes me sad that we have all these people, all these Star Wars fans who are so willing to tear down this franchise, who are so willing to send hate and everything that they can towards the director of this movie,
who was never given a scale of a movie like this before.
But they're so willing to tear this movie down and make it seem like the trash that they believe it is. Well, we have people who are sitting out there who are doing their best to prove that Justice League is one of the best superhero movies.
Which it isn't. It was a fucking colossal piece of shit.
Let's talk about Justice League, right?
Oh yes, let's talk about that. DC fans,
we're gonna have your panties so far in a bunch that you'll be tasting them. So basically, my thing with Justice League, right? And my thing is when we do these podcasts, people are gonna find out quick that I don't care. I'm not gonna keep shit soft. I'm not gonna sugarcoat shit for anybody out there. I don't care if you don't like it. You know, I don't care if you want to boycott our videos or whatever. Justice League was shit. It was pure, unadulterated trash. It was the antithesis of a fucking horrible movie. It was literally the Amazing Bulk with just a better budget. That's all it was.
And here's the thing about this, though. The biggest problem with Justice League is that they rushed to get here, as opposed to the MCU, where they took their time developing the characters in each of their movies. In different Avengers movies up to this point, Avengers Infinity War.
Right.
And it's so amazing. I just find it so amazing that a movie with like over freaking 30 characters is more neater than a movie with 7.
Exactly.
It's just ridiculous.
And I don't care what anybody tells me. Justice League was just Warner Brothers' chance to compete. Like that was their shot to compete with Marvel. That was their little golden ticket baby that they had. They wanted to outdo Marvel, and they rushed it, and they put so much into it that it didn't work. It didn't work at all. You know, I mean, there's people out there who, you know, there's all sorts of people. You got the hardcore Marvel fanboys. You got the hardcore DC fanboys. Me, I love both. I love both.
I'm definitely not biased either.
You know, except
when it comes to
cinematic universes.
Here's the thing: when it comes to Marvel and DC, I've always loved them from the very beginning, especially in their movies. That's what got me into DC, the movies. I saw Tim Burton's Batman. I saw Christopher Reeve's Superman. I saw the Dark Knight trilogy, which is a million times better than this fucking pilot junk called Justice League.
I personally think that Dark Knight was one of the, or is the best superhero movie out there.
Right.
But man, what they did with Justice League was so disappointed. And you know, here's my thing: you have the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and then you have the DCEU. And the DCEU, for all of you out there who don't know what the acronym is for, is the DC Expanded Universe, or Detective Comics Expanded Universe, right? Expanded is my thing that I like to point out. Expanded.
Expanded. It doesn't feel like an expanded universe.
Right. The only characters that they gave us before they even came out with Justice League was Batman, Wonder Woman, and Superman.
Batman, Wonder Man. But yeah, they only gave more character development for Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman in their solo movie, and that fucking pile of shit, BVS, which just
they
shoved Wonder Woman in there just to make a Justice League movie of their own before they actually made a Justice League movie. And then you get to this movie, and you see all these characters' backstories, just like here's the Flash, here's Aquaman, here's Cyborg, here's Steppenwolf. Oh shit, Steppenwolf, fucking Steppenwolf, man. Let's talk about this motherfucker. I hated Steppenwolf. The minute he showed up on screen, I hated it. I hated the way he looked. I hated the way he talked. I hated his motivation. I hated his dialogue. He's just spews out fucking generic shit like, you will taste my wrath, or you will feel the righteousness of power. You will love me, mother.
He was so bland. He was just so unconvincing. And you and I are gamers.
Yep.
You know, we've both been gamers for a while now.
PS4 for life.
When it comes down to Steppenwolf's appearance, I'd have to say he's probably my least favorite PS2 game.
Or a PS2 cutscene character.
it was so bad. I don't understand how they made a movie like Infinity Wars with Thanos, who looks exponentially
better.
An exponential amount better than Steppenwolf. Steppenwolf.
It has way more development, has a better motivation, has better everything.
Right.
Basically,
the point about creating a good villain is to have a villain who's relatable. You want people to watch your movie and not necessarily know if they should root against the bad guy or hope that he changes.
Right.
Unless it's a character like the Joker in the Dark Knight trilogy, or in the Nolan trilogy, right? Because look at the Joker in the Nolan trilogy. He was not a man that you had ever thought would change. He's not a man. He's not a man that you could sympathize with. But the thing is he was a man who spoke ideology that a lot of people had thought.
Yeah, it makes you think. Is he right? Is he being for real about this shit?
Exactly, and you know, just for all those people out there who don't think that I'm just a DC hater, that I'm some Marvel fanboy, I'll tell you this: The Dark Knight was probably one of the best examples of how you can mesh political and you know, political views and fantasy together very well. You have something like Attack of the Clones or Phantom Menace that did not know how to mix fantasy with, you know, politics, and then you come with something like with Dark Knight, and they did a very good job at making you choose a side, a political stance.
Right. They had the whole White Knight, Dark Knight discussion with Harvey Dent, and then we had ideological talks about you either die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain. That type of stuff. It was just fascinating to watch.
Right.
It wasn't just fantasy shit thrown at you. It didn't make Batman a fucking pussy, which Justice League succeeded in doing.
Oh my
Justice League
God, dude.
made Batman a fucking pussy. I'm sorry, but Ben Affleck's Batman is ruined for me forever. I don't care. Unless a director comes in to change everything, he's ruined. Because
he was so busy dangling from Superman's nutsack.
Right.
He was completely useless.
Yeah, he was all like, they need Superman, otherwise we can't beat Steppenwolf. Superman is basically their MacGuffin.
Right, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, and then let's not forget the fact that Batman doesn't even go toe to toe with Steppenwolf once, and we see Iron Man defending himself to defending himself to the death against Thanos, and he nearly dies, but he put up a good fight. He nearly died kicking his ass. He made him bleed. He made Thanos bleed without even saying he was gonna do it. He wasn't all, "Do you bleed?" And then freaking Batman goes, "Tell me, do you bleed?" Which brings me to this scene when Superman comes out of the grave and comes back to life and whatever. He grabs Batman by the fucking neck or face or whatever, and he's all like, "Tell me, do you bleed?" And I'm like, of course he fucking bleeds. He's human.
Who sat and wrote the script for Justice League? Right. But it's like, how do you sit and write the script for Justice League and then say to yourself, you know what was a cool line? That one from Batman versus Superman. Let me use that again. Let me use that over again. Like it was supposed to be some nod or like Easter egg for the fans. Like, we don't give a fuck, dude. We really don't care anymore. And you know what? Another thing too. Like, it didn't work for me. Let me know how you feel, right? But it didn't work for me. I did not feel at any point, besides the movies where they were actually together, that these movies even happened in the same universe.
Right.
You know, I watched Wonder Woman, and it did not feel like a movie that was connected with the Batman universe or the Superman universe. I watched Man of Steel, and it did not seem like a movie that was connected with those universes. I watched Suicide Squad, and that in no way felt like it was connected with this universe.
Hell no, that was just a fucking Hot Topic fever dream disguised as a comic book movie.
it was a fucking joke, and they should have learned from the fact that Suicide Squad was so fucking bad. They should have learned that maybe they should take a step back and really learn how to make a collaboration movie.
Right. All they did in that movie was just basically rip off Guardians of the Galaxy, only have them actually be bad guys. They even have the scene in the bar where they reflect on their deeds and all that shit. And like, you know what? If we do this, we're gonna be heroes, man. We're gonna be it's gonna be like another chapter in the Bible, man. My daughter's gonna know that her daddy is not a piece of shit. It's just so cliche, so overplayed, and so melodramatic. It's like, dude, we've seen this shit before in other movies. We've seen, like, none of this feels new, none of it feels exciting. And then, you know, there's many people out there who can try and tell me different, but DC was just trying to copy Marvel. You know? When I saw Man of Steel, I didn't really think that they would do a DC Universe until I heard they announced a Batman vs. Superman movie, and I'm like, okay. Now, when I heard they announced Batman vs. Superman, I'm like, okay, this ought to be interesting, because, you know, I always wanted to see these two on screen together, and all they did was advertise more movies. The freaking scene where Wonder Woman is looking through Lex Luthor's archives or whatever, and she finds fucking pictures and videos of Cyborg and the Flash and Aquaman, and it's like, dude, if you're gonna make a Batman vs. Superman movie, just make a Batman vs. Superman movie.
Exactly.
Don't shove the shit in our throats, expecting us to be like, oh yeah, I can't wait to see fucking Flash and Aquaman and Wonder Woman and shit. Fuck, I'm excited as all hell for this movie. Yeah. No, that's not our reaction.
I haven't even seen before.
Right. I mean, especially even cinematically, for that matter. We've never got a Flash movie. Well, that was like years ago. Never mind.
Right.
Well, we've never got an Aquaman movie. We've never got a Cyborg movie. At all. I mean, we didn't get anything. And then and then we get them here, and it's like they just rushed. They rushed everything. They shoved them together, and it's like, just Bond. Just do it.
Right. And I mean, just look at it. You know, Civil War is announced, and what happens? Batman vs. Superman comes out. Guardians of the Galaxy, and they come out with fucking Suicide Squad.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking Infinity Wars, one of the biggest events is coming up, Justice League. It's just their attempts to try and get ahead of Marvel, and they can't. They've not put the time and effort in that Disney has put into it.
It made Infinity War made more money in 2 weeks than Justice League did in 3 months.
Yeah, I mean,
it's just,
come on,
it's just it's just pathetic, man. You like when I saw that, I'm like, they're never gonna reach that height again.
Right.
It's never gonna make as much money as the Dark Knight trilogy. It's never gonna make as much money.
And now you have Warner Brothers, who is trying to sell out stock. Like they're trying to get rid. It's going to come a point where they have to sell. And the thing is if they can't sell all those characters together, this is the last time that we can see them in a universe together, and they're ruining it.
Right.
Because if separate companies buy, separate characters, we're not going to see that shit again. They're literally going in reverse of what happened with Marvel. Like it's sad,
It really
is. It's really sad. And speaking of companies having to sell and everything, Fox. It's coming to the point with Fox now. What is it? Comcast put on that whole cash bid, and obviously the smarter idea for Fox would be to go with Disney. But like I told you before, which I guess brings us to another topic, Fox is they're really riding on. They're really hoping they can ride on the popularity of Deadpool 2. Let's talk about Deadpool.
Yeah, the first one was good. I thought it was pretty funny. Fucking hell.
First one was spectacular, I thought. And the reason I thought it was good, I mean, other than the fact that the trailers kind of ruined it.
Yeah, definitely.
One thing that I liked about the first one was the fact that it was new. This was the first like intense R-rated superhero movie.
Yeah.
And or I guess anti-hero movie. I mean, there was Blade in the past. And, you know, there's been a lot of things, but it's this kind of took it to a new level. And I think that's what fans were so excited for. They finally got to see a character that they probably never thought was going to come to the screen in the first place.
Yeah.
You know, he made his way there. But you know, good movie. The marketing team kind of flubbed it.
Oh yeah.
But,
well, as they flubbed it, they kind of did a good job as the way they did promote it outside of using footage. When the first time I saw that teaser trailer of the dude sitting in the shadows, like, who is going to come on a big screen for the very first time? Oh yeah, me. I thought that was pretty fucking cool, man.
Right.
Ryan Reynolds knows his shit when it comes to this. You know, I thought it was.
He does. It's like the perfect role for him. But on to Deadpool 2.
Oh yes. Deadpool 2. Deadpool motherfucking dos.
Yeah, so I was surprised, actually. I'm not gonna lie, I was surprised.
Really?
I went into this movie I mean, I went into this movie with hope, you know. And but I didn't necessarily know how it was gonna do, because just like Kingsman, I loved Kingsman.
Oh, right,
I loved the first one, and then the second one
fell flat on its ass.
Absolutely trashed everything. You're right. They trashed everything they were about for for something else. But going into Deadpool 2, I had hoped, I hope this isn't the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
I hope that they don't put restrictions on themselves. And I'll be damned, dude, they did not put any restrictions on themselves. They gave us the same Deadpool that we got in the first
Only
one.
better.
Yeah, it was really good. I really liked it. I was skeptical, about when they gave the viewing, and everybody was like, "Oh, it's not good. It's not good at all. It's trash." And I was like, "Well, I can't really listen to that shit because we got motherfuckers who are saying that Last Jedi was trash."
Right.
So,
exactly.
My dependence on critics nowadays is kind of very low.
Well, the critics love Last
from
Jedi,
everything,
actually,
too.
for the most part.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying not the formal critics.
Right.
I'm saying the populace. The people who like to talk shit about movies because either it's not exactly what they wanted or because they just don't like the character.
Right, but this movie was exactly what I wanted as well. I wanted it to be bloodier. I wanted it to be funnier. I wanted it to be Ryan Reynolds-ier. It was Ryan Reynolds.
It was great. They took Deadpool 1 and they expounded on it like it was really good. And I'm going to tell you this. One thing I did not expect going into a Deadpool movie was as much emotion as I got from the movie. I not gonna lie, I was spoiled that Vanessa bites it. Yeah.
Yeah, a friend of mine said, "Oh shit, this girl from Deadpool dies," and I'm like, "Dude, what the fuck? I didn't want to know that." And he's like, "Oh shit, well, forget you heard it." And I'm like, "How the fuck am I supposed to forget that I heard something like that?" That's the equivalent of me hearing that Pepper died or something, It's like you have to keep that shit under wraps. But I was a bit sad for him. But I was ultimately bursting out laughing when they did that James Bond opening. It was fucking hilarious.
That was
especially when
really
the credits,
good.
especially when the credits were like, "Wait, what? You're just gonna fucking kill her?" Like, written by, are you fucking serious? Produced by, you gotta be shitting me. You can't do that shit.
I think my favorite was cinematography by Blind Al.
and written by the real villains.
There's a lot of things in the movie that I really appreciated. I liked the fact that they didn't try to jump us into a Deadpool Cable, romance immediately. It was Cable versus Deadpool at the start, and the villain, like the real villain, the one who turned out to be I guess you can't call him the real villain, but the one who turned out to be who they were trying to stop in the first place. I thought it was great.
That kid,
it
man.
really gave, yeah.
Kid was fucking cool.
And the dynamic between Wade and Russell himself, I was like, yo, that's just fucking great, man. I really like the fact that they expounded on like shit like the icebox and the little collars that would stop the mutant abilities and stuff. Like, that was really cool. It's cool to see that there is actually potential now. They've created more story with the fact that something like that exists.
Yeah, so it's with the first one. It was just your basic revenge story, and that
Exactly.
part in and of itself was kind of boring. Just like revenge story. That's something that you'd expect Deadpool to do,
Well, that was one of my worries. That was actually one of my worries at the beginning of the movie. Was that the whole movie was going to be another revenge story.
Right, exactly. But he killed the dude immediately.
Right, exactly. So then I was like, oh, okay. I fucking get it now,
I mean, I did have fun with the revenge plot in Deadpool 1, but that plot could have been
right
better. I mean, it could have... This plot was better because it did more with Deadpool. It gave him... He got to team up with the X-Force. He got to fucking... There's so much...
And the movie, speaking of X-Force, the movie threw me for a lot of curves, man. It surprised me. They set up this whole X-Force thing.
Right.
Which kudos to the marketing department on this one, because the way that they made it seem in the trailers was that this was going to be primarily focusing on the X-Force. And then you get, 2 minutes into the X-Force being together, and everyone fucking dies.
Everyone fucking dies. Like, every single one of them.
I was so surprised.
Same here. I was like, wait, what? Even Peter. Even fucking Peter, man.
Peter.
Fuck.
Poor Peter, man.
The Invisible Man. The Invisible Man is Brad Pitt.
Dude, I was like, when that happened, I looked at my friend, I was like, was that fucking Brad Pitt?
Tyler Durden is real.
I was like, right?
Yo, but I wasn't expecting that, and Domino was lucky as fuck.
I think, besides the Brad Pitt cameo, I think that my favorite cameo was the X-Men cast.
Oh, yeah. He was like, he was in there like, can the studio just throw us a bone? Why can't the original cast show up? Or like at least one. And then he's in the back, you see them closing the door like, oh, hell no.
Yeah.
You see everybody in there. You see James McAvoy. You see the actual cast for the new movies. That was kind of cool. Not gonna lie, I was hoping for the original cast. Not gonna lie. I don't know, because it kind of confused me.
It was great, and just like anything with Deadpool, man, the riffing was just, it was so. I don't want to say like in good taste, because you're gonna have those motherfuckers who are gonna be commenting like, no real humor, and that's so lowbrow or whatever, But the riffing was just. It was just perfectly placed, dude. I love like the second that he walks in and he's talking to Ness, and he's like, when he says that he was helping out a bunch of kids, handicapable kids who got caught in a tree, and then the second line when he's like, yeah, you're right. He's like, I got in a fight with a caped badass. But everything came to a resolution because his mother's name
is the same as mine.
The second I heard that, I was like, yeah, this is gonna be great.
Yo, and the other line, oh shit, that's very dark. Are you sure you're not from the DC universe?
Right. Yeah, dude, they were really going on it. And props to them, dude. You know, and there's little things, too, like, the movie is so, like, this one was way more self-aware than the first one was.
Really?
And I loved it. You know, him signing Ryan Reynolds on the Wheaties box.
Yeah.
You know, him telling dude that he's not going to get any speaking lines anymore. Just like there was a lot of instances where it was very self-aware, and it topped it though. It made Deadpool, because that's what Deadpool is. You know, he's a fourth wall breaker.
Right.
So,
and I'm glad there wasn't too much of the fourth wall breaking, like the obvious ones, like where he's talking to the audience, like, "Hey, just so you know, you know," something like that.
Yeah.
Right. What'd you think of the Juggernaut, bro?
Juggernaut, man, dude. I knew that Juggernaut was going to be in the movie.
Really? How?
I did, yeah. Well, just because of like the videos and stuff that I watch. Just even running across thumbnails on YouTube.
Really? Man, that sucks.
I mean, I knew it, but here's the thing: I knew he was going to be in that movie, but he still surprised me.
I had no idea, though. I have no idea. I thought the big guy was going to be the Blob or something, or or someone I never heard of before. But no, they pulled out the Juggernaut. Oh yeah, they had that chorus going on. You can't stop him. He's the Juggernaut. You can't stop this motherfucker. Holy shit balls. Oh yeah, just so you guys know, there's no end credit scene. But there are a few end credit scenes where he went back in time.
Right, there's little there's no teasers or anything. There's just that little.
Oh, you know what I also noticed?
Huh?
I think you might have noticed this, but when Deadpool was quote unquote dying, or kept on dying, like you can hear Logan's death music.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, they were playing the actual track from the movie when he was dying.
I did not even notice that, dude.
It's like when I heard, I'm like, wait, why does that sound familiar? Oh, wow, you clever motherfucker. You clever motherfucker. They were playing the death scene from Logan's music in there. Like, what the fuck?
Now,
somehow, I don't know. Yeah.
Now, sometimes I know there's things that are from the comic books that you don't know because you don't really read comic books. Just for our fans out there, I read comic books. AJ doesn't, and I don't say these things to be a dick or anything. I just say them to give little insight to like Easter eggs and stuff. But I don't know if you knew, but did you notice the Easter egg after Fire Fist was hugging Deadpool and then blew him back? Remember when he's like, I can't trust you, I can't trust no one, and then blew him back and
Oh yeah.
Like his whole suit turned gray.
Oh yeah, it was referencing his X-Force costume. I knew
right.
That. And I thought they spoiled that whole X-Force transition in the trailer when he got the gray suit, and I'm like, oh come on, don't spoil that shit. But I was like, oh, that's a nice little touch. I thought they actually gave him the costume.
Right.
Yeah, like I've seen pictures of him in the costume, so I was like, are they gonna put him in the costume? Yeah, but I was like, oh, that's clever. That's clever.
Yeah, the just everything in that movie though was pretty good, and I liked there was so many references, and they even tackled the topic of like a generation gap. There's a lot of people there's a lot of younger people who'd be watching the movie who wouldn't get the Basic Instinct reference,
Basic.
But
oh.
But they tackle it in a way where it's still humorous, even when they tell you what the punchline is. Like you remember what I'm talking about, right? When he's got the baby legs. And he crosses them, and his buddy is like, That's his basic instinct. Like, you know, there was a lot of stuff that, and you know what's another one too is I like, it was so subtle, but the way that they talk, that when he came in and he was like talking about the baby legs, and he's like, go ahead, I know you have something to tell me what it looks like. And then he tells him, you know, it looks like he's giving birth through his asshole, and they stopped him halfway through. But they touched on it because when Domino comes in, and she's like, oh my god, your face. And he's like, yeah, he looks like an avocado. And then like just kind of trails off. Because like, they touched on that just because that's his humor, you know? Like,
right.
I don't know, though, man. That it was really good. I love what they did with Cable.
Cable was good. Another Josh Brolin role that succeeded in every level.
Another win, man. Like, shit.
Good for you, Josh Brolin. Let's clap. Let's do it.
For real.
Yes.
Man, it was so great.
I'm not mad at all that he's not like the size of Cable. As most people,
no.
I think I think Deadpool touched on that. I think Wade touched on that. He did in the movie
when he was like, he's like, if you see this guy, this is Cable. He's like, he's not as tall, at least he's very short. Nothing like in the comics.
Right? Yeah. But yeah, he was pretty cool, like, man.
It's great, but I love that like they're like, yo, man, like comic book fans, not everything has to be completely accurate. You know what I mean?
Right. And when people freaking look at Batman vs Superman and say, "Oh my God, look at this imagery! It's just like the comic book. That means it's a good movie." Like,
right?
No.
Yeah, it's like, what would you rather have? Would you like something that? Would you like a character who's accurate to the comic book, or would you like someone who plays the role like a badass?
Right.
And Josh Brolin fucking did it. The dynamic between him and Deadpool, the way that it fleshed out was pretty good.
I agree.
I mean, I'm assuming for some comic book readers out there that it's maybe was a little lacking for what they would have wanted, but yet again, that's the thing, you don't want it just like the comic books. But everything about Cable Man, the sound effects, like just the
effects on his arm.
Yeah, everything, man. It was great. I love the way that they played the little electric guitar when he turned up his gun. Like,
oh yeah, that shit was good. That shit was cool.
But very good. Domino was even great, dude. I loved Domino.
Domino was she was the lucky one. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, she was great, dude. There was not one point where I felt like anybody was like the cliche character. They kind of stayed away from that enough, you know, in a sense. Because Domino, you know, they could have very easily made her into a cliche character, and they didn't.
Right, and we also got that little controversy with her race when she was first announced as Domino, which was completely stupid.
The fact of the matter is that if you like when you pay attention to Domino, you know, like Domino in the comic book, she had that little black spot around her eye, right? And this one, she had the white spot around her eye. But if you pay attention to her hands in the movie, you'll realize that it's actually skin disease. Like it's the one that changes the color of the pigment. You know what I'm talking about? I can't think of the name of it right now, but that's what it is. And it's like, yo, like, props, man. Like, you know, there's a lot of people out there who have that same condition. I don't know. I kind of feel bad for calling it a disease. I wouldn't necessarily consider it a disease.
More like a condition.
Right. There's numerous people out there who have that condition and go through daily life and think that they're ugly because of it, which they're not. And you had Domino, who comes on looking like a badass, just kicking ass, dude. And obviously, a very, she was an attractive woman.
She was very, 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 very attractive.
So, more power to them, man. It was, it tackles an issue that you don't really hear much about that. You don't hear anybody talking about an issue like that.
They were subtly political, or subtly trying to.
Right.
They were subtly trying to raise awareness for that, and now that you told me that, I was like, okay, that's that. Good on them. Really good on them for that.
But yeah, Domino was great character. Even everybody for their short-lived X-Force career, they were fine.
They were fine. I'm gonna miss Terry Crews though.
I know. I was surprised that was
he was the first
small, one. Yeah, and I was like, that was a very small role for.
And and they're on the fucking poster too. So I was like, what? What? I mean, I'd be if it was handled in the way that G.I. Joe did it by killing off Duke, aka Channing Tatum, I'd be pissed. But they just did it in a way that it's like, okay. I don't know. What do you think?
Nah, yeah.
But yeah, Deadpool 2, Deadpool motherfucking 2. 2 thumbs up, bro. I gotta say.
For real.
It really exceeded all expectations. I really hope Venom does the same. Let's just hope that that Venom fixes the mistake that Topher Grace's Venom made.
Oh my god, dude. Oh.
Yeah, I know. I can tell that you're a bit less than optimistic right now about it.
I was, well, I still am. I'm a huge Venom fan. I'm just more in part of a huge symbiote fan. I loved Venom. I loved Carnage. I loved the Deadpool Back in Black series. I loved when Spider-Man had the suit. I loved the Maximum Carnage series. Was an absolutely amazing comic book series, and one of my favorite comic book miniseries to date with the symbiote suit, at least, is the Venom Lethal Protector series. But in saying that, Topher Grace was the biggest disappointment I could ever have in life, because Venom is this huge, bulked out, just brute motherfucker.
Right.
And then you have Eric Foreman as Eddie Brock, and it's like, this is severely disappointing. And even as a kid, dude, even when I saw Spider-Man 3 as a kid, I was like, how's this gonna work? I was like, okay, when he gets the suit must bulk him out more, but they didn't. They didn't do that either. I mean, they did a little, but
it's like he went through a slight transformation in the gym, and I'm like, yeah, I'm Venom now.
Exactly, and and the thing is like, because of that, just like because of Deadpool and Origins, I'm a little iffy as to Venom coming out now. But the thing is I'm trying my best to keep my head up about it. Tom Hardy did a very, very good interpretation of Bane. It wasn't the classic Bane that we got in the comic books. It wasn't the mafioso Bane. It wasn't the Mexican wrestler Bane. It was a new take on Bane, and I appreciate where Tom Hardy took it. He was a very imposing force in Dark Knight Rises. He literally was a villain who scared me. I've liked Tom Hardy. He's had some good movies. He's had some bad movies. Just like anybody. But I'm keeping optimistic about it. I've seen the trailers,
especially the new one.
And yeah, especially the new one. And I'll tell you this, I love the way they made Venom look.
Especially when he said, "I'm Venom."
Right. No, yeah. What I love the most is when he said, "We're Venom," because that's how Venom refers to himself in the comics. Because it's two entities. It's Eddie Brock and it's the symbiote suit, which is a living entity. You know, so he refers to himself as we or we're. You know, so that's one thing that I love that they did in the trailer. They didn't just make it into one person, but the thing is. I guess my biggest question is this. Do you worry about the fact that maybe that's the only little piece of Venom that we're going to get to see? How much are they going to actually spend with him in the symbiote suit? Because a lot of scenes in the trailer is just him utilizing it while he's still in his human form.
Right, because if they pull an Amazing Spider-Man 2, I'm going to fucking walk out the theater in disappointment, because
exactly
you can't just do that. It's at least 30 minutes of screen time given, or 20 at the least, given to Venom himself or something. I don't know.
I would be completely content if they did this whole movie and there was just an end scene where it was just this, all out brawl or whatever with the symbiote, with Venom, as actually Venom. Like, I would be completely content with that. But my biggest fear is that they're only going to show us a little bit, But the thing is they've been putting work into the movie. They've been working on this for a long time now. So hopefully that time that they put into it will reflect in the movie. I guess in a way, if you want, this could kind of springboard us into another topic. I fear that what they're going to do with Venom is what they did with the Indominus from Jurassic World. They're only going to show us just a little bit, and then at the end they're going to show us about 5 minutes of it before it's murdered.
Well, what, you mean the Raptor for the new one, or the other one?
No, the first Jurassic World.
I mean, you had plenty of screen time in there. You had a lot of screen time.
It did, but did it have as much as the T-Rex in the first Jurassic Park?
Oh, you mean it's gonna have as much screen time as a T-Rex? You mean? Right. Oh, okay. Yes.
So it's I mean, I don't know. You know my thoughts on the Jurassic Park franchise.
Yeah, but with me, I can't see how this can keep going. Because what else can you do with dinosaurs? We've already seen dinosaurs CG for the first time in 1993. Well, I wasn't born in 1993, but for those of you who have, you know what it was like. And then when you saw when you saw The Lost World, and it's like, we saw this shit already. Yay. And then we had this freaking plot line with Jeff Goldblum and his freaking girlfriend and whatever. And it's like, do we fucking care, man? And then we get to Jurassic Park 3, and then that's when the franchise said fuck you. That's when the franchise said fuck you. But then we get to Jurassic World, which was okay for what it was, but it was just basically an updated rehash of the first one.
Jurassic World, the movie had a good idea. Their idea was good, and when I say that, I mean their idea of basically what I would call a soft reboot. It wasn't necessarily a reboot; it was a continuation, but it was still a reboot. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So, that was a good idea to have something like that, but they didn't play on it well. I mean, no. I really think that they just put characters in there just so we could be like, hey, look, there's Star-Lord,
Oh right. Here, look, there's Wilson Fisk. Oh, hey, look, here's that Indian dude from The Amazing Spider-Man who fucked with Dr. Connors. Oh my god. And oh look, there's the kid from Iron Man 3. Oh.
Yeah, it's just like. it was the same. It was almost the same exact story that we had in the first one, just with more, I guess, high techiness.
Right, and let's not forget the fact that there's more and more characters to come in the sequel.
Exactly. And it comes to the point where this is just I'm sorry to all the Jurassic Park fans out there, but it comes to the point where this franchise just needs to be over.
Right.
I
was over when Jurassic 2 came out.
It was. I was a huge fan of Jurassic Park. I loved Jurassic Park. Jurassic Park was groundbreaking, but that's as far as it went.
Right.
They should have known that there's only so far you could go with the story.
Your franchise is dying when John Williams doesn't want to come back.
Right. Exactly.
Because he came back for Star Wars.
Right, exactly.
But he didn't come back for Jurassic Park 3 or Jurassic World, so that should say something. Then again, he did not show up for the Harry Potter movie, so that's a different story.
Right. See, but there's a thing that I would like to impart on people listening, is the fact that you hear me say that Jurassic Park is a franchise that needs to die. I don't mean that in a harsh sense. I just mean that as just put it to rest. Just end it. And it doesn't mean that I'm any less of a fan of Jurassic Park. But I'll put it this way: one of my favorite movies, franchises, for the most part, Terminator. I love the Terminator movies. I absolutely adore the first, the second one. The third one was passable.
Yeah, it was I would say it's the X-Men: The Last Stand of the three. Even though it was mediocre, it was still enjoyable and it had its moments.
It was, and but the thing is after the third one.
Fucking Terminator Salvation was...
After you sit through the third... You tell us in the third one that Doomsday is inevitable. Or Judgment Day it's inevitable. It's going to happen. The only thing that you can do is prolong it. So, after telling us something like that, where's the risk? Where is the hope? From that point on, when I'm watching Arnold fight some more high-tech version of a Terminator, where is the hope when I see them trying to disable Skynet? There's no hope anymore, because you literally have told me that it's going to happen no matter what. So what is the point? That would have been with as mediocre as Terminator 3 was, I feel like that would have been the perfect ending to the franchise.
And then Terminator Salvation and Genesis had to fuck it up.
Right. And not to mention the new fucking trilogy that they're going to come out with.
I did hear that they're just going to come up with a third one to retcon the other third one, and that's it. I hope, or that's what I heard at least.
Yeah, but it's is it even worth it?
I'd rather Terminator. I'd rather it just be 1 and 2, to be honest.
I'd rather Terminator just be terminated.
just like Aliens, it was better off at Alien 2. It was better off at Aliens, and that's it. Granted, I'll give Alien 3 was okay. It wasn't insulting in any way, but it wasn't as exciting or as scary as the first two.
Right.
But then we got fucking Alien Resurrection that just went all fucking cartoon, late 90s, stupid all over. Come on.
And here's my prime example of a perfect I mean, I guess I wouldn't say absolutely perfect, but near perfect movie franchise that knew when to quit. It was Back to the Future.
Right. All you needed was 3 movies, and that's it.
They knew when to stop. They did 3 movies, and they were done. And the 3 movies that they did, each and every single one of them was absolutely adorable. Like, you know, I mean, I guess adorable was a weird word to use, but I had so much adoration for each movie. Each movie was iconic, and right. they had a way of you know, when you watch the Back to the Future movies, you will realize that each movie is almost the same exact story, but they had a way of conveying it that it was okay. Each movie, Marty woke up to whatever version of his mom was, you know, he was by, and mistook her as his mom for the present, and freaked out, you know. Each movie, you know, there was it was Marty trying to fight to keep you know, his normal, you know, present. Each movie, it was a version of Biff, who was the bad guy, but the thing is they made it so that it was different enough each time where you could still have the love for the story and still have something new.
Right.
And Back to the Future 2, in my opinion, as far as I guess like quirky time travel sci-fi movies would go, I think it's one of the best because they put so much work into it, man. They found a way to have 2 Michael J. Foxes on screen, or 2 Christopher Lloyds on screen. They meshed it so well that it was so hard to even tell how they did it. It was groundbreaking, and they knew, though.
It was.
They knew it might have been popular, but they were like, "Yo, let's just stop it here." What a perfect place to end the story.
And here's how I see things with certain franchises, right? With Star Wars, I can see it going on for a while because there's so much you can do with it, right?
Right.
Marvel
exactly.
goes on for a while because there's so many stories you can tell there. With Jurassic World, you can't really do anything else. With Terminator, after Terminator 1 and 2, you can't really do anything else. With Aliens, you really can't do anything else now because Alien Covenant just fucked everything up sideways.
Man. So bad.
Here's we should probably just talk about Prometheus first, at least, because Prometheus, as unnecessary as it might have been, it was a decent sci-fi movie that didn't rely on alien nostalgia and fucking bullshit, you know, and dumb scientists for that matter.
Exactly,
and it had a compelling
course.
It had 2 compelling characters. We had David and we had Elizabeth Shaw.
Right.
Elizabeth Shaw was curious about the whole origin of Earth and creation and stuff. We get to the planet and she gets disappointed by the answer. So I'm like, okay. And then she goes off to the next planet. Like, I want to know where they come from. I'm like, okay, this could be a good sequel. And what does Alien Covenant do? Fuck all that. Let's just go to a team of dumbass scientists and colonists and make another Alien movie. Which brings me to another topic about like making movies for fans. You know.
Yep.
These fans of the Alien movies, right? They saw Prometheus and were like, "Where's the aliens? Why wasn't there a chest burster coming out of a chest there?" So Ridley Scott was probably like, "You know what? Fuck it. I'll just make another Alien movie." And Alien Covenant is what we got, and what we got was an utter piece of shit that doesn't make up for anything. It had terrible CG for the most part. It had dumbass characters. They killed Elizabeth Shaw off in the most disappointing way possible. Like, it just said she's dead. That's it. There's no fucking. They didn't even have a fucking uploaded video of her traveling to the planet and hyper sleeping and whatever. And then in the movie, we see her chest bursted out because he was doing tests on her. And I'm like, dude, really, fuck you, man. Really, Scott, fuck you. I'm sorry.
For real,
fuck you.
dude.
You shouldn't.
I don't know. It was, in my opinion, Covenant was kind of just a slap in the face.
A big slap in the face.
To Alien fans, you know, and the thing that one of the things that bothered me the most about that movie was it had one of the worst plot twists.
It wasn't even a plot twist. It was right there in our faces, and it just acted like we were dumb, and it was like, oh, he's on the ship. Oh,
they just tried to treat us like we were stupid. You know, we watched that together, and I immediately knew what was going on. There wasn't a goddamn second where I even thought that there wasn't even a goddamn second where I thought what they wanted me to think.
I did find it weird how he was able to take Walter's place that quickly, though.
Right.
So that I would have been like, maybe he did kill him. But then, what revealed it for me, when it should have been earlier, was when he was looking at the alien being set loose in the ship, and he's looking at it like,
yeah,
oh, according to plan. But then he helps them kill it, so I'm like, okay, what was the point of that?
Right.
And then they keep playing with our brains, and it's like, wait, is he David or is he Walter? And then we find out that it's David, and then he fucking vomits out alien eggs out of his fucking mouth. And I was like, fuck this movie. Fuck this movie.
For real. I don't know. And their whole, the whole introduction of the Neomorph was like, I was like, dude, come on.
Yeah, these dudes were fucking dumbasses. This one dude who was like, I'm gonna go smoke.
Like,
and yo, actually, let's talk about the fact that they don't have any fucking helmets on.
Right.
On a possibly dangerous environment that could They see a planet and they're like, let's fucking go in our fucking.
It's.
I don't know, man.
It's almost as if every person who worked on this movie had never seen a sci-fi movie. Like,
nope.
You know, and it's weird too. Like, it came to a certain point where I didn't necessarily feel like I was watching an alien movie. I felt like I was watching Kong Skull Island with xenomorphs. Like,
exactly. Only it wasn't as fun.
Exactly. Yeah. It
was fun to watch because they were fucking idiots, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
So back to the two dumbasses and the victims of the Neomorph. This one dude,
right. These people who are scientists, mind you, who are sanctioned to find a new planet for humans to exist at. These science people, right, who've devoted their lives to this shit, right? They go to a planet and don't wear helmets. Because why?
I don't know. And not to mention that they literally stated this plot hole to us in the conversation between Daniels and fucking what's his name, Dr. Manhattan over here.
Yeah.
And like she's all like, it's too good to be true, man. And I'm like, I have faith that this is gonna be our colony. And I'm like, dumbass. And so then when we get on the planet, I'll give them credit. They actually brought guns, so that's something. But this one dude goes out to fucking have a fucking cigarette, and he's like, and then we see pixelated dust in the air, and he doesn't notice that it's moving in a weird way.
Right. It
goes in his ear, and it comes out of
his face,
and it comes out of his back. When I actually feel like it should have gone to his gone out of his head or something. Because the dude sniffed it and it went out of his mouth, so I felt that kind of made sense. But it didn't make sense for him to just go up to the fucking the spore and just poke at it.
Right.
For the fucking dust to come out and sniff it.
Not to mention that this dude like I said, is a scientist. And
He's a scientist.
He decides to light up and smoke a cigarette on a planet that you have no clue what could destabilize the atmosphere. Like,
what if the planet was made of gas? You just fucking light it up and then...
Exactly. Then you got the dumbass who sticks his face.
Oh, I can't fathom how dumb.
A scientist who sticks his face near these weird-looking egg sacs and thinks it's okay to just poke them.
That's exact. He's like, and he's talking to the person who created these things, and he's talking to him. It's like, I created these specimens of my own design. Come with me. I'd like to show you more of my creations. And the dumbass follows him into the room. First of all, which I thought was like, no, you're gonna fucking die, bro. You know what? You deserve to fucking die. You deserve it. And when he got his face caught in the thing, I fucking laughed. I fucking laughed. He fucking deserved it. And another thing that insulted me the most was the way the alien popped out of its chest. It didn't pop out like a worm. It popped out with legs,
like a tiny little baby xenomorph.
Like, come on, man! It just.
It was.
Fuck. See, it's movies like this and Kingsman: The Golden Circle that make me question why they think Last Jedi is a terrible sequel.
Right.
You know? I mean, you haven't seen Golden Circle yet, have you?
No, I haven't.
Well, I can tell you that it's a massive hunk of shit, man. Because I saw the first Kingsman, and I thought it was kind of ahead of its time, but here's the thing. I thought of it as like this parody of a spy flick of its own design, you know?
Right.
It was its own thing. It was fun. And it had its quirk, it had its moments. It was funny. It had Samuel Jackson. And then the next one, they just emphasized on the fact that you enjoyed that shit and just rehashed it in this movie. And just added some unnecessary shit. It just... so bizarre things happened in this movie that I can't even tell you. I recommend you just watch this online or something just to check it out.
Yeah.
I wouldn't recommend buying it. Don't buy Kingsman. Don't buy Alien Covenant. Don't buy Justice League, and definitely don't buy X-Men Origins.
Yeah, for real.
All right, that's gonna conclude our podcast for today. First of many. I'm glad you took the time to listen to our thoughts and desires and hate.
Thanks, folks.
All right, we will see you We'll see you next time.
Right, yeah.
Bye.
I look forward to all the hate comments.
Yep. Oh, yep. I'm scrolling through them right now. Holy shit.